Hey Grace, it's Pastor Chip, and I wanted to take a few moments today at the beginning of the week to try to talk about an issue that I think all of us are thinking about. And I'm hoping that you'll receive what I have to say in the spirit in which I'm communicating it, which is one of love and grace and truly one of understanding many different sides of the issue. The question is, when are we going to start gathering in our buildings again? It's a great question. And I think there's some things that I think I need to weigh in on. And I'm hoping that no matter where you stand on this issue, that you understand I am okay with that. That there's going to be people on different issues, different sides of this issue, and it's okay. What I do not want to do, though, is to see this somehow create tension in our church. And so let me try to address the gathering again back into our building. There's a lot of phrases being used on social media, in the newspapers by Christians of when are we going to start doing church again? I just would like to push back just a little bit and say that phrase is not really a correct phrase. We just are not meeting in a building right now. We're definitely the church. You don't go to church, you are the church. The church takes place in different places. Right now, at Grace Community Church, we are offering two opportunities to have worship and a message that can be done in a corporate setting. One is in your house, which is churches online. And as it is right now, you can have up to 10 people in your house, and it's totally okay with all of the regulations that Sarasota County has asked us to stay under during this phase one. So you can gather as the people of God in your house, and we provide, I think, an excellent platform for worship and a message for anybody who wants to gather in their house, or if you want to watch it on your TV or your phone or computer, whatever it may be, iPad. I think we offer that opportunity. We also offer another opportunity for the saints to come together, which is drive-in church. We bought a really nice new antenna. We've not had any complaints about sound anymore. The sound is really good. We offer live worship, and we also offer a unique and distinctively different message than we do online. We also have devotions that are coming forth, and then we have special things that we do periodically. We feel, as Grace Community Church, we are doing everything that we possibly can right now to provide the saints of God in our congregation, and even those who are watching that don't go to Grace, the opportunity to have engagement with God. Which comes to the next question, then when are we going to come back into our buildings? This is the underlying thought that I have as your pastor. I don't think the way we do our services in our buildings is conducive to social distancing. When I think of Grace Community Church, and I think of the interactions that we have, when I think of the fact that many of you all appreciate that in the services that I shake hands and hug and talk to people, the fact that we come together and hang around the coffee bar and meet into groups and figure out ways to go out to lunch afterwards or dinner, whatever it may be, the fact that we are a really close-knit community, getting back into the building is not a win if everybody's wearing masks and sanitizers all over us, and the young families feel the pressure of their kids, because what happens if a kid gets out from underneath a young family? I can tell you my kids, there's no way in the world that Mindy is going to have all 6 of my kids sit in a chair and not one of them get up or not one of them do something strange. They're going to do it. And that doesn't mean that I don't have control of my kids. It's just the way kids are. And so if you're a young family, you probably don't feel like maybe that's what you want to do, so they're excluded. If you're older or you're immunocompromised right now and we're trying to come in and just social distance and gather, it's not fair to them. I just would ask you, no matter what your opinion is, even if you're like, we got to get back together, or if you're like, put the brakes on, whatever that opinion is, would you please allow yourself to be framed through the vision of our church that we want to be intentional neighbors that reflect Christ. And that means also to our congregation. So we want to really do this thing right. Listen, I'm doing the best I can to lead. And I know some of you all are going to be pushing for more things. Some of you all are going to be asking to please hold the brakes on. I want to give you full permission to definitely disagree on this issue. But what I want to ask us not to do is to divide as a church over it. Let's make sure that we put Jesus first, that we truly live out what He's called us to do, which is to be intentional neighbors that reflect Christ. And would you please trust that me as your pastor, our staff, our board, and many other pastors that I talk to, that I'm doing the best that I can possibly do in a very difficult time to make good decisions. I got to stand before a holy and righteous God one day, and I can assure you that the thing that I am most concerned about is your safety and doing godly things that reflect what God has called our church to do. Now, that being said, we are going to try to start to provide some areas for relationships. I've told the staff that, right now at a restaurant, if you're outside, as long as you're social distancing, they can have as many people as they want to have outside. So I've said, you know what, we could do some things here at the church where people are outside, where they could come together and have some relational time together, but they'll still have to social distance a little bit. But we can start to do some things where relationships can start to be fostered, because that's ultimately, all of us want relationships and community. So we're going to try to do some things, and some of you will be like, that's too much. Some of you will be like, it's too little. Totally understand. We're doing the best that we can. Would you please trust that I really am trying to make the best decisions that I can? And I want you to know that I love each and every one of you all. We're going to have some differences of opinion, but we know that God has called our church to do something great. And if we'll all buckle in here, it's not going to be too long. I believe it'll be sooner than we realize. We will all get back together, and we'll have great children's programs. We'll have great worship again. We'll have great preaching again, but we'll also have that great relationship that we have at Grace, and things will get back to where they were. Listen, I believe this with all of my heart, and I want you to believe this with me, that the best is yet to come.